Prices are high because people have been buying. Now, why and how are people still buying with this pandemic going on? I've got some theories. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking. So it's been about 4 months since I made my last video about Rolex prices falling. I gave some examples of what watch prices were trading for back in mid-April, predicted that they were going to continue to fall, and gave my reasons why. 2 weeks after I made that video, I doubled down and made another video predicting that watch prices were going to fall even further. I backed it up with facts. I gave examples of how the recession in 2008 affected the economy and how that compares to the economy now with the current pandemic. I looked at real-world examples of how to measure the economy based on everything realistic and measurable. And from what I saw, everything seemed real negative. I also highlighted points from different articles showing how we are in unprecedented territory. Fast forward to today, 4 months later, watch prices are crazy high. In this video, I want to talk about why that is and whether or not I think that's going to last. So I think now's a good time to talk about who I am and who I'm not. Bear with me for a second, it's going to make sense at the end. I'm a 39-year-old first-generation Asian American. My parents immigrated to the US when I was just 2 years old. As with most immigrants, we came over looking for a better life. With that said, when they came over, they didn't know the language, they could only find blue-collar jobs, and they each worked 60, 80 hours a week. We had what we needed when we grew up. It was comfortable, but by no means was it extravagant. Fast forward a little bit, I did well in school. I graduated college in 2004. But I didn't really start making comfortable money until I moved down to Miami back in 2011. I'm not a business owner, I'm not an entrepreneur. I work for a Fortune 500 company, but I'm just a salesperson. It's a commission-based role. Most years I earn a six-figure income, and it only starts with a 1. I'm single and I don't have any kids. I'm not a watch connoisseur, I'm not a horology expert. I'm just the guy that likes watches. In these few recent years, I've had a chance to save some disposable income, and that's where I like to park my money. The engineer in me appreciates the intricacies of a watch, and if I'm being honest, the ego in me likes showing off a little bit. And now I say all this because I think at some level, if you're watching this channel, a part of that story resonates with you a little bit and you can relate to it. So back to the prices. Crazy high right now. Prices are high because people have been buying. Now, why and how are people still buying with this pandemic going on? I've got some theories. My feeling is that there's an increase in the number of buyers because more people have disposable income right now. Why do people have disposable income? For a few reasons, I think. Number one, the stock market has been on a tear since April. And I can relate to this a little bit. As a 39-year-old that just recently started investing heavily in the stock market, I look at it like easy come, easy go. You know what I mean? Additionally, there's savings from COVID. What do I mean by that? Well, we're not going out every weekend. We're not spending money. We're not going to the mall. There's less of that impulse buy. Sure, people are buying on Amazon and stuff like that. Me personally, too, I didn't take my vacation this year. Usually I take one vacation a year. So that's a few $1,000s that I didn't have to spend this year. Again, additional savings. You factor all of that in with historically low interest rates, and I think we have a recipe for people to splurge a little bit. So I did some research and I was interested to find that consumer confidence has been on an increase since April. Yes, even with the pandemic, even with record high unemployment, even with record high losses in GDP, consumer confidence has bounced back since April. Another interesting point I found doing my research is how COVID affects different income tiers. Now, it's not concrete and might be self-explanatory to you, but on this webpage I found that higher income groups are more likely to be high skilled and therefore have jobs that can be performed from home, theoretically minimizing the impact of income losses or income decreases. So if you combine all these factors, more savings, gains in the stock market, easy come, easy go, only a slight decrease in earnings for the segment of people that might be in the market to buy a high-end watch, it makes for the perfect storm for people to splurge on a watch. Then you factor in historically low interest rates, and I believe you add an additional segment of people that might be in the market to buy a watch. So is this all sustainable? Will prices stay historically high? The reality is that prices will stay high as long as there's buyers. Now, this is the part of the video where normally I would go back online, I would analyze the economics, look at the GDP, look at the unemployment rate, and figure out if, logically speaking, from an economic standpoint, is this sustainable? But I'm not going to do all that because I've done that before. If we've learned anything in the last couple months, is that what's going on now doesn't make any sense. The stock market shouldn't be going up. Consumer confidence should not be going up. We're not out of this pandemic. I guess if there is a conclusion to draw, is that people are reacting out of emotion, both with the stock market and with buying watches. All I'll say about watch prices is this, and actually let me clarify. Let me focus in on the segment of watches that are about the 10 to 15, maybe the $20,000 range. I focus on this range because I think there's a segment of buyers very much like me, accumulated a little bit of disposable income from not having to spend thousands on vacation, not going out every weekend, things like that. If somebody's earning $10,000 a month, maybe $6,000 a month after taxes and such, I think this is the price point of an entry-level type of watch, again, without being any type of horology expert or anything like that. So with that clarified, what I'll say about watch prices is this. People don't like to overpay. A $15,000 watch, while it's not a lot of money, it's not a small amount of money either. There's some research that goes into it. And with the research, people know that a Batman was $12,000, $13,000 a few months ago. Before that, it was in the 14 range. There's no way that somebody's going to pay $17,000 for it right now. That's my opinion. But I'll end with this. Do you buy a watch right now? If you're lucky and you just like to get the best deal possible, I mean, sometimes getting the best deal is more enjoyable than the watch itself. That's how sick I am. But I feel like some of you guys might be in the same boat. If you're out there and you're in the market to buy a watch, just wait a couple months. Just like when the pandemic started, if you remember, prices were slow to fall. It took a little time. There's a huge lag effect with the prices of watches. So just because prices are high now, I don't know if they're selling. I think these dealers can stomach low sales for a couple months, but eventually, if they're not selling, prices have to come down. Again, I'm talking about the $10, $15, maybe $20,000 stainless steel Rolex. That's my opinion. It's based on the fact that these are luxury items. If you have them, great. If you don't have them, it's not the end of the world. But who knows? A lot of people with a lot of money put away, and fast forward 2 months, I could be wrong. So if you're in that situation where, yes, it's not, but you don't need one, I would say wait. But if you find something that just speaks to you, you have to have it, you have to have that specific one, buy it. Let a couple $1,000s stand in the way of a purchase that would last a lifetime. Guys, that's it for the video. Hope I provided a little bit of insight, something for you to consider before spending a lot of money anyways. My next video is going to be what's the perfect second watch. So if you've got a stainless steel Rolex and you want a second watch, kind of thought process I went through and am going through to determine where I want to spend my money. As always, you really help me out. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment or a question down below. Let me know if you like this video or not. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.